Okay, so today we're going to talk about making effective presentations because apparently you have to speak for somebody important. Is that right? Who is it? The mayor? I can't hear you and I'm sitting 3 feet away. Who are you? The mayor of Carrollton? Okay, Matthew, is it Marchant or Marchant?
I think it's Marchant.
It's a French name, so the first thing, we better make sure and say that guy's name right if he's our mayor, correct? So I thought it was Marchant, and one of the young men on your team said it is Marchant.
That's what I think it is.
I just want to make sure and say it right. So I've been saying it incorrectly, but when I see his face, I cannot say it incorrectly. Does that make sense? Okay. So let's just do a little practice of introducing ourselves, because this may be the first step that you guys are going to encounter. I'll say my name and, like in my case, what my position is, or something like that, just a short introduction if I was going to talk to the mayor. Okay, so, and then you guys are going to stand up and do something real quick, so just think about what you want to say, all right? No check. So, my name is Chris Agee. I am the speech and debate coach at Newman Smith High School. This is my 19th year at Newman Smith. And the presentation that I'm doing today is called Presentations 101 # Nailed It. Okay, I cannot hear a word you are saying, and I'm sitting 3 feet from you. Now, you better yell at me.
My name is Yasmin Zapata. I'm a senior at Newman Smith High School, and my presentation is going to be about how to adopt old animals.
Oh, okay, so animal adoption, okay? Now, you've got to say that with some energy. That is a wonderful topic. He's going to care about that. Y'all don't know about that yet, but I know what this guy wants because I looked it up. Terrific. Okay, we're going to do the one clap. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, go ahead, Keisha. And it better be loud.
My name is Keisha Frazier.
Not with those hands. Let those hands hang. That's
I'm
part
a
of
senior
it.
at Newman Smith High School, and my presentation is about purchasing a new recruitment system.
Okay, a new purchase recruitment system. Okay, terrific. All right, 1, 2, 3. All right, next, young man.
Hello, my name is Jose Salazar. I am a Newman Smith student, and my presentation will be about scanning. I'm not sure.
Okay, so and you just want to commit to something, but you are looking all over the place for inspiration, and they're not going to believe you, and that's part of it too. So 1, 2, 3, Jose. All right, next.
Hello, my name is Cecilia Duran. I'm a senior at Newman Smith High School, and my presentation is about a new way to organize files.
How to organize files. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Cecilia, I taught you too. There's no way you should be this quiet. You forgot everything I taught you. All right, next.
I'm Maria Santos.
Okay.
I am a junior at Newman Smith High School, and my presentation is on the library, building a teen section in the
Oh,
library.
on why we should have a teen section in the library. Okay, terrific. All right, 1, 2, 3. Not bad. Y'all know what some of your problems are? That's what I was going to ask you. What are you scared of? And what I'm really asking you is, how are you giving it away to the audience? Does that make sense? How are you giving it away to the audience? In other words, can you see yourself from the outside? Do you know what you look like? Do you know that you look around and that you don't look like you're thinking, you look like you're lost? Does that make sense?
I know what I was going to say.
That quiet voice, they will never believe you. If you won't look at your audience and speak loudly, they will not believe you, okay? So that's just first step in all of this, is that if you're gonna present to the mayor or Ms. Holdridge or anybody else, you better be loud and proud, okay? What we teach in speech, and you guys know this, is we fake it until we make it. And what this really means is we have to pretend to be confident until we get enough opportunities, hopefully in Ms. Holdridge's classroom, to become confident. Many of you have not had the same experiences that I have. My mother made us speak in church at a very young age. Do your parents ever make you do that? It's a nightmare. Can you imagine? They're all staring at you. I'm 6 years old, and my mother won't let me just read a poem and sit down. I have to have an introduction. I have to practice. has to have a meaning and a story, and maybe she made us practice. Now, I don't know if your mom made you practice a speech for church, but that's one of the reasons that I'm a speech teacher now. Does that make sense? You're not bad and broken because you look around or because you have a soft voice, but you have not been given the opportunities to work that out before it's time to stand in front of the mayor. And that's why I'm here today. Does that make sense? Okay, so let's cover some of these things. Did you guys get both of the things, the making effective presentations? And then, all
I
right.
have those.
Okay, can you see on the board? What's the next thing? Because I want to go over some of this, and then we're going to talk about the mayor. So I'm going to quickly cover some of this. You girls already know this from my class, all right? So the first thing it says is whether it's a school presentation or a business presentation, many people don't have the basic skills to communicate effectively. A good presenter can communicate clearly, spark the audience's interest, which is going to be really important, maintain their attention, and give them something to remember. Visual aids, gestures, eye contact, organization, very few mistakes are the ways that you can do that. But that is hard when you're trying to speak to the mayor, run the audio-visual presentation, click the slides, think of the next sentence. In other words, what we practice in our classroom is easy. You get to hide behind the podium with a note card. This is not like that. Have you figured that out? I saw every one of your faces when Ms. Holdridge said we're doing it for the mayor. So the cat's out of the bag. That is what it's going to be. Now, are you going to fall apart, or are you going to represent our school and impress this man? That's what I'm thinking of, and I know that's what you want to do, right? So that's the first thing, is that presentations are hard. Does that make sense? That is why everyone struggles with them, not just the 5 of you, okay? The first thing I want you to know is the basic elements of the presentation. Can you see that? If you're stressing about nothing, you really only have 4 things that you control. You, the audience in front of you, the message that you are using, and the kind of tools that you are going to use to make it. Yourself. What are your strengths and weaknesses as a speaker? We know your weakness is that you have a soft voice. Are you willing to live with that? We know that your weakness is that you glance around and you look confused, okay? You should have been louder than that. Pretty loud, sometimes you don't open your mouth. Real talk, you've got to articulate, right? Sometimes you talk too fast and it hurts your articulation. Now, I've been in this room for 3 minutes, but that's exactly what it is, right? It's what I do. What I do is look at you from the outside. And it's the same thing as being a golf coach, guys. I can't see my own golf swing. Someone has to stand behind me to show me what I'm doing wrong. So it's the same thing. I'm going to point some things out that are not pleasing to the audience, and then we're going to cover those up, and we're going to fake it till we make it. Does that make sense? Okay. So, what are your strengths and weaknesses as a speaker? If I ask you one thing that you were good at, what would it be? Just one thing.
My loudness.
Okay, you're loud enough. What about you?
Loud enough.
Okay, loud enough, and you're tall and you have big hands, and that helps. Okay, what about you?
I look at the audience.
Okay, you have good eye contact and a beautiful smile. What about you? I'm not sure, and you have a beautiful smile, and if you'll slow down and open your mouth, it's going to be great. What are you good at? I don't know. That's okay. So, we can't see it's just like the golf swing, isn't it? We can't see ourselves from the outside. So, here's what it is. Quit thinking about everything. The mayor, I'm freaking out. No. You think about your audience, think about your message, and what tools are you going to use? Now, I believe the tools are already done for us. They have a presentation, and they have different topics, and that's the tool, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's talk about the others. You know some of your strengths and weaknesses as a speaker, and I'm going to give you a list of things you can do to make yourself look better to the audience. Does that make sense? This guy's going to love you whenever you get finished. He's going to be really happy. We're going to find out who he is here in a little while. So the second thing we have to think about is your audience. Who is your audience? What is your audience's abilities, and what can you do to relate to them? Now, you two girls have had my class. You know I think a lot about my audience. It is a bunch of tired high school students that don't want to stand in the light and speak out loud. What are some of the tricks that I use? If you can remember one thing that I did for you that interested you or made you want to try or something or made the class interesting. Can you think of one thing? Because it's boring. That's, I'm not great.
You always had a joke in your speech.
Okay, I use humor a lot to try to make it interesting or relevant. And if the kids laugh, it makes me feel better, like they like me, and I need that as a speaker. If they like me, in the first 30 minutes, that's 30 seconds or a minute, I will try harder and concentrate and not think about the mayor. I'll just be able to do my speech because I think they like me. So yeah, do you remember anything specific
I
You know,
just like
that you enjoyed?
that you let us choose our topic, like something that we know more about, and then we're comfortable with. So.
Okay, do you agree that things you are passionate about, you sound better
Yeah.
on those things?
Yeah.
Are you an animal hater or an animal lover? Did you pick that topic because you love animals? Good job, because it's going to show through in your voice and your passion about the speech. Did you all pick stuff that you could be passionate about? Because if not, we need a teen section in the library. Okay, maybe. Animals, definitely. Some of those topics didn't seem particularly exciting, right? So how are you going to fake passion? Do you know what I mean? Look, you see me every day. I am passionate about everything, right? And I need to quit doing this. It's terrible. But if you show passion in your speech, it helps because it makes other people know that you care. And picking your own topic is one thing. So if you got extra time and you're not crazy about your topic, pick another one that you are passionate about, and maybe she would let you repick at this point. I don't know where you are in the process, but I want to see some passion. And I have a feeling the mayor wants to see some passionate high school students that care about adopting old animals. Like, you have no idea what a good hook that is for this audience. He's gonna love that. I mean, like, out of everything y'all said, I'm like, adopting animals, that's the one. It seems to be the closest to what somebody like that would be like, man, that was awesome. And that's what we're trying to get out of. Okay, the next is your message. What major ideas are you trying to get across? The biggest problem is you talk about too much, and what you want to do is keep it simple. So I'll talk about A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, V, W, X, Y, Z, and in the middle I'll say, remember, apple, banana, and cat, and then at the end, you know I'm going to say apple, banana, and cat. And after that presentation, if I ask the mayor, what did you learn? What do you think he's going to say? It's the things that we reinforce, all right? I can't do A through Z. The audience will never remember all that, but they might remember 3 things if I tell them to remember 3 things. Does that make sense? Okay. And we also keep it simple and reinforce them at the end. And then your tools, what can you use to make your point? A handout, a visual aid, and things like that. And you already told me that y'all are on top of that, right? Okay. The next part's going to be 8 steps to an effective presentation. I'm just going to run through these quickly with you guys, and then let's get to the mayor part. Okay, first, every presentation you do is a sales presentation. Does that make sense? You're selling your ideas, you're selling yourself, you're selling something to someone. You are desperately trying to convince them to buy you or your ideas. Make sense? All right. Number 2, know your audience. Is this going to be a bunch of 4-year-olds or is it the mayor? Well, I would have to change my speech, right? Is it the president or is it the mayor? Is it Mayor Marchant's dad who has more experience than he does, or is it the mayor? Is it the mayor's 8-year-old daughter, or is it the mayor? Is it the mayor's 8-year-old daughter, his dad, and the mayor? So you try to figure out what they need and then give it to them, okay? Next, make a script. It's just like any other speech activity I would teach you to do. Make a script and stick to it. If you don't have an interesting introduction, it is critical to get this guy to laugh, smile, or react. So if you just say, hello, my name is blank, and I'm talking about animals, it's not enough. You better have I'm gonna suggest a personal story because I think that people in power in our city love to hear personal stories about kids and their struggle. And I think this one about the animals is a good idea. So if there was an old dog that you saved, you need to tell that story, okay? All right. Next, be prepared to answer questions. You know, think about, because you know he's gonna ask you something. He's not just gonna sit there and say nothing. This guy conducts the city council meetings, right? So you know he's gonna try to ask you some questions and see how you hold up under pressure. That's what they're gonna do to you in every presentation, right? So be prepared to answer questions. In the case of this, maybe he's like, do we have any adoption programs in Carrollton? And you have two choices, and one's to go, I don't know. And the other one is to think about that beforehand and have a good answer for the mayor. Because if you do, it's gonna look great. Okay, you've got to practice. No surprises is what I did today. I wanted to see what the setup of the room was. I wanted to see if the visual equipment would work. I made an extra copy of it on the flash drive, so in case everything went wrong and she wasn't here, that I could pull this off, and you need to do the same thing. If Mr. Pouncey walks in right now, I hope I have an extra handout to give him instead of worry about that. Those are the kind of things you just sort of want to think about in general. Is no surprises is the best presentation, because it's the one that you thought of, isn't it? It's the one you wanted to execute, so less surprises is always good. And be aware of the time limit. Do they have a time limit, Ms. Holdridge?
I don't think so.
Okay, so that's
We
sort of
probably need to put
important.
one on, just,
I think so too, because if it's 6 minutes, or it's 60 minutes, you know, if it's 60 seconds, I can't tell everybody everything I know about ballet. And if it's a 60-minute presentation, I can't just go first position, second position, I'm done. So we've got to find out what the time limit is so we can make it interesting at the first, have enough, and most importantly, not run out of time. That's my fear today. The bell's gonna ring and I'm not gonna finish. Think about how that looks to the audience. It looks like I have been preparing this for 2 days for you guys to do a good job, but if I run out of time, it's gonna look like I didn't prepare at all, like I didn't rehearse, and I didn't plan. And that is the last thing that adults wanna see from children. Unrehearsed, unprepared, and unplanned. They wanna see your plan. They wanna see you execute your plan, and then they have confidence in you, okay? So let's talk about the mayor. What's the third page? Yes, pro tips from a pro. That is me. This is my job. So let's take a look, guys. Okay, if you want to pause the tape, let's move up here to the table.